All right, welcome back. And now it's time for us to get into the conversation of the day. Now, of course, you know that all roads lead to the central region, to Assin North specifically. And we're going to get into that conversation, find out what's going on there, what are the hopes and aspirations of the various contestants that are on the ground this morning. We've been joined in the studio by our colleague Hassan Ajiman, and who is a broadcast journalist with us here at Citi TV and Citi FM, and he's going to give us the whole scoop on what is happening there, what we can expect. Hassan, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, all the hue and cry, Assin North, Assin North, Assin North, today has come. We are getting into it. Who's winning? Who's losing? Who's, going to give us? Who's going to pull a surprise at the end of the day?
Who is winning? Who is losing?
Who's going to pull a
Depends
surprise?
on where you are sitting. If you speak to the NDP, they are winning. If you speak to the NDC,
they are winning.
If you speak to the posters, they are saying that it's a close one. You cannot just score who is winning. But it's going to be an interesting one. It's actually going to be a tight race. You cannot in any way tell who is going to win.
But walk us through what brought us to 27th June for the Assin North by-election. You know, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding this. Finally, the by-election had to happen. How did we get here?
It's been a long journey. Long journey. If I'm a storyteller, I'll say, let me start from 2020, December 7th.
Take us there.
And so you are this morning. So tell us how we got here.
So December 7th, Ghanaians went to the poll. Assin North, by election, parliamentary election, voted massively for James Jachikwesin.
Who was the NPP contestant?
That
then?
was the MP at that time.
Yeah.
I can get her name shortly.
Okay.
The lady, she won in 2016, and she won that seat with some kind of margin in the person of Abena Mensah. So she was the NPP's candidate in 2020.
Yeah.
James Jachikwesin won massively with 55.21%. And then Abena, she had the previous election, she had gotten about 56% of the votes. And now she actually got 52%.
Okay.
And then she now moves, so she had 56.8% in 2018, sorry.
Okay.
So close to 50.
In 2016.
In 2016, close to 57%. And then in 2020, she moves to 44.79%.
Terrible.
That's a huge one. And when we go further into the conversation, then we understand the makeup of Assin North.
Sure.
They like you today, you do what they don't like, they show you that we don't like you.
I mean, and that's how it's supposed to be,
That's how
right?
it's supposed to
That's how
be.
it's supposed to be. No one seat should be a done deal for someone. That's when people begin to take you for granted.
Yeah, since it was carved out in 2012. 2012, they voted for NDC.
Yeah.
2016, NPP. 2020, they went back to
The NDC.
the NDC.
Interesting.
So James Jachikwesin wins this election. And then if you look at the makeup of where Assin North is located, you know, in 2020, the NDC did pretty well.
Yeah.
In 2016, they had just 4 seats in the central region.
Yeah.
NPP had 19. In 2020, they moved from 4 seats to 13.
Yeah.
And NPP reduced from 19 to 10.
You know that stretch? It looked like there was a cutlass weeding the MPs
Well,
of everybody
yeah.
had their own version. They were
was-
cutting it just like
It
that.
was just like that. And Assin North was kind of a loner up there. So if you know the Assin area, it's in the northern part of the central region. So Assin North and then Esikuma Odomin Abrakwa were the 2 constituencies on that level that were for NDC. Now to the other side, Upper Dentra East was NPP, Herman Lower Dentra was NPP, Assin Central Kennedy Japan was NPP, Assin South was NPP. And so even though NDC did well in the central region by getting 13 seats. If you go up north there, Assin North and the Sukuma Odobin Brakwa, and then up north of Upper Dentra West, were just those constituencies that the NDC had.
Okay, okay.
So just up north, these were the seats that the NDC had in 2020. But shortly after that, then conversations came up that even Jachikwesin was not qualified to contest as an MP in the first place.
Now, let me get your mind on this. Would you say that it was because of the numbers in Parliament? You know, that is why this became a big deal. If the NPP had a high majority, like a clear majority, would this still have been a serious conversation? Would they still have pushed, you know, the Jachikwesin case this far? I
think it was a contributory factor because you remember just after the election, both parties were claiming that they had majority in Parliament, and the NDC even said if the NPP had not undertaken some actions to take some of the constituencies from them, they would have gotten majority. And if you look at the cases that the NPP have brought up against NDC's MPs, Jomoro, for instance, which failed, also dealt with dual citizenship. And so they were looking at ways to get some form of majority. And the E-levy would testify to the fact that they actually needed a certain kind of majority to avoid the Liman days where you send your budget and it's rejected. We got a replica of that in, I think, 2021 when the budget was rejected. And so that was a great contributory factor. Now, comments were made, but the official issue started on December 30. Now, a day before December 31, when we were going to go into the next year, then Michael Ankuman, in fact, he filed to the High Court indicating that at the time Jachikwesin was contesting the election, he had a Canadian citizenship, which in his view was an affront to Article 94.2. Now, Article 94.2 goes to say that you cannot contest as a member of Parliament if at the time of your election you owed allegiance to another state other than Ghana. So,
not at time of filing.
Well, the Constitution reads you are not qualified to contest for election if you owe allegiance other than Ghana, to another country other than Ghana. The Supreme Court in the Zaneto case had gone ahead to interpret the Constitution to say that the time of checking your eligibility to contest is at the time of filing. And so it was applied in that sense. And so at the time he was filing, even though he had renounced his citizenship, he had not gotten the renunciation certificate. And so you couldn't have said that he had renounced his Canadian citizenship.
So it was work in progress, but
still... It was still there. I mean, there are people who have raised other legal arguments on the side.
But this is what the Constitution says.
This is the position of the Supreme Court. So on June 6, 2021, the High Court granted injunction. And if you will remember very well, on the night of the swearing in of the MPs, even before that, the election of the Speaker, the injunction notice was brought to Parliament.
But he was still there.
He was still there. It was served on the Clerk of Parliament at the time. And the NPP, I remember very well the arguments that were raised by the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Apenyo-Markin, to the point that this is what the court has said, you cannot go against it, you have to make sure that he doesn't take an oath. But long story short, he still went ahead to take the oath with the support of his members. And then, fast forward July 28, 2021. This would be a very interesting movie. July 28, 2021, that same year, then the High Court came out with its judgment and said, yes, they agree with the applicant. You had Canadian citizenship. You didn't qualify to contest in the first place. So your election was a nullity. And so you cannot hold yourself as an MP. Then Jachikwesin, he didn't agree with the decision of the High Court, said that this decision does not have any sort of backing as far as the facts are concerned and even in law. And so he went to the Court of Appeal on March 22, 2022. He filed to the appeal to the Court of Appeal, but the Court of Appeal came with a judgment on March 22, 2022, where it actually dismissed this appeal that it brought. But while the case was at the Court of Appeal, the applicant went to the Supreme Court and said that the Supreme Court should interpret the same Article 94 too, and say that Jachikwesin didn't have what it took to contest as an MP because he had gone against 94 too. The Supreme Court accepted jurisdiction over the matter, and then on April 13 in 2022, injuncted him. So from April 13, 2022, technically he had not been acting as a member of Parliament way back in April 2022 because of that decision of the Supreme Court. And then so from April 13, 2022 to May 17, 2023, the case at the Supreme Court had been ongoing. And so on May 17, the Supreme Court came out with this judgment and said, gentlemen, you came to serve us, but according to our Constitution, you didn't have what it took to contest. I mean, you were not qualified to contest. And so they nullified all the process from his filing to passing him to his election to his swearing in. And went ahead to say that his name should be expunged from the books of Parliament. Now, some had questioned what this actually meant. And even the Speaker of Parliament made the point that the Supreme Court should come back with a clarity. I don't know whether it will do and come again. But the expunge, what does it mean? Does it mean that all the activities that he had taken part of in Parliament, like the election of the Speaker, will it affect all these?
No, because if you are going to be looking at that, then it's going to really be a very huge, conversation to be had. Because I mean, all the policies that he voted on, what happens to all these, I mean, all his contributions and all that.
Especially the election of a speaker.
Exactly.
Especially the election of a speaker. That it calls all of those things into question.
Exactly. So, remember, that is when we had the fight and all that. Remember?
And then the e-levy conversation. And so these are conversations that are coming up on the side. But the main issue is that the Supreme Court gave its decision. And based on that, usually when a seat becomes vacant, the onus lies on the Speaker to declare the seat vacant. And then the clerk, by the Constitution, is supposed to inform the Electoral Commission. And so by so doing, the clerk informed the Electoral Commission.
So what will this mean, that in quote, lying to the state, okay, because you didn't qualify, you hid very vital information from the Electoral Commission and by extension Ghana, and you came in, you won election. Now this is where we are. Remember that the president in Assin North raised issues that don't vote for a possible president candidate. I don't think he brought in the possible. And the former president, John Mahama, has also raised a counter issue that why are you trying to determine the case before it's even done? But if we are also supposed to compare what is happening, just to pose it against Adamu Sakande's issue, then where do we really stand here?
I mean, these are issues that are still with the court, and so the High Court will have to determine that. So the state, in our Constitution, by Article 88, we leave criminal matters in the hands of the Attorney General, which is now Godfred Yeboadame. And so he takes the decision as to whether this particular matter we can't prosecute or not. So they've taken a decision that what James Jachikwesin did amounts to perjury, which in essence is lying under oath and also deceiving a public official. And so this case actually emanated from a CID petition by, I think he was the Central Regional Secretary of the NPP, Richard Techi-Mensah. He petitioned the CID on January 13, 2021, and the CID undertook its investigation, and then the state put Judge Kwesi into court. His first court appearance was on February 15, 2022, as far back as last year. The case had been ongoing, and then the state now is calling its witnesses. Its first witness is the petitioner here, in the person of Richard Techi-Mensah. And so, for that, we will leave it for the court to decide on. The issues here, there are those who are saying that in proving this, usually in criminal matters, there's an issue about the intent. So it's not just that the person has done it, but did he really intend to do it? And so, well, that is what they.
I am thinking about the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. You see, because the way the law speaks, as it is in the Constitution, it says that by the time of the election, you shouldn't hold allegiance. Now, if it was the spirit of the law that was being used, he didn't have allegiance.
Well,
you see, by the spirit of the law, the fact that you've taken a step to end your commitment to another nation means that by the spirit of the law, you no longer have allegiance to them because you've already taken the step. It's only that the documentation for the response hasn't yet come.
But
you use what I'm saying?
If you are going to apply for a job and they demand your certificates, okay, to say that we are looking for somebody with BA in econs. Okay. It is your certificate that will prove that you are qualified for the job. If you're in the process, there's the likelihood that you won't finish the school. You can be expelled. You can do. No, you see, so the thing is, it's very dicey.
But again, so we need to separate the civil matters from the criminal matters. So the matters on when you are supposed to show that you don't have allegiance are purely civil matters. The issue on the criminal matters of perjury and deceiving a public official are criminal matters. Now, when it comes to criminal matters, aside, usually most of our offenses are captured by Act 29, which is the Criminal Offences Act. Now, it defines every act because per the fair trial rules, every offense, you cannot be tried for any offense that is not defined and the sanction given. And so every offense is defined. And by practice, you would get cases that will define the elements of every offense. And so when the state picks up the offense of perjury, there will be the elements that they will have to prove. And fundamental will be the act itself and the intent. And so we'll leave that for the state. If we want to go into the issue of allegiance, I mean, that's a full debate that people like Beko Asari have talked about. Because when you talk about allegiance, it's more of a certain loyalty that you owe to somebody. I think that there are several levels of allegiance. And if you even look at the history of our Constitution, so when the 1992 Constitution was promulgated first, if you go to Article 8 of the Constitution, if you were a dual citizen, you lose your Ghanaian citizenship previously. So, Frema, if you go to the UK, for instance, and you acquire UK citizenship, by the initial nature of our Constitution, once you say you're a UK citizen, you cannot claim to be a Ghanaian citizen unless until at the time you denounce your UK citizenship. And then in that same Constitution, we made mention of allegiance. And so it meant that the framers of the Constitution were thinking of two different things at that particular time. But I cannot also rule out that when you have dual citizenship and you have allegiance, you cannot say because they were thinking of two different things. Dual allegiance obtained by dual citizenship cannot fall under that. But that's a full debate. But at least the Supreme Court has settled until a time when another case goes and a different decision is taken. So
what also took James Judge Kwesi to court. You remember recently he was also in the news because he had to make daily appearances, which according to him was going to affect his campaigning and his preparation towards the by-election, which the court agreed with him and so had to grant him his request.
Well, so that is the criminal matter.
Yeah.
So I indicated that the criminal matter has gotten to a point when it's in full trial mode and the state is calling its witnesses. And so prior to the whole conversation, his lawyers had applied to the court to hold proceedings until after the by-election. And the states disagreed, and the court agreed with the state that they cannot hold the election. And as part of that, the state made an application that it should be held daily, and then it was agreed. So he asked for a review of that decision. The court has actually dismissed that his application, but in strategy he got what he wanted because he did not want to go every day. And on Wednesday, the court held that it was going to give its ruling on Friday, and so he was not going to sit on Thursday. The court also agreed to a prayer by his counsel, that's Chachi Chikata, that he should be absent from hearings on Friday. And so when it comes to strategy, they got what they wanted. But when it comes to the law, the court actually dismissed the application that the case shouldn't be held daily.
Right.
Okay, Hansa. So we have our correspondent, Calvis Tete, joining us again. Calvis, you have some updates for us?
Yes, David.
Yes, talk to us.
Yes, David, some few minutes ago there were allegations of money sharing. The NDC is alleging that the New Patriotic Party is sharing money in the constituency to ensure that voters take the money and then vote for them. There was a bit of misunderstanding here and there, but I have with me here the Deputy Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC to help us better understand the situation. Sir, you are making allegations of money sharing. How true is this?
Yeah, good morning to your viewers. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, of course, there's an ongoing money sharing by the New Patriotic Party. Has been written broad daylight. We've been here for so long as far as the by-election is concerned. Yes, in a run-up to their campaign, they were sharing money. And we sent them caution that we don't want to see that in during the election. And they never heard, I mean, they didn't take it into consideration. As we speak, they are still sharing. One voter take 200 Ghana. It depends. One voter take 100 Ghana. And it's quite unfortunate. Why is our democracy turning like this? Something that can be your civil rights, it now tends to bargaining. And so we are using this opportunity to tell our brethren and sisters in the New Patriotic Party to desist from that. Since it's contrary to the rule of the game. How do you bump into the election ground to share money? It's not here and there. And these are the things that NDC is talking about. And these are the things that we challenge you, the media people, to be hyping it. You need to speak without fear or favor. Because we are in this game with you people. And so when you, the media guys, are very quiet, innocent Ghanaian guys
please ask him, what's his evidence?
So I think it is the right time for you people to hammer on it. It is true. I can tell you the fact that MPP are sharing money. They are buying votes.
Okay, sir, what is your evidence?
But it is clear. When they are buying votes, do you expect them to show you money here? We've been in a game for so long. They are buying votes. They are here with the blowover and all those things. In their campaign, the blowover was following them. When they go to share, they just drop in 30,000, 25,000. That was what they did in the campaign. And so we have no surprise that they are still buying the votes here. But you people have to talk about it. You don't need to ask me evidence. I am telling you that MPP are buying votes.
Calvis,
and so don't ask me the evidence.
Calvis,
we know the process. They are buying votes.
So Calvis, please,
so as you heard it, it's like
find
that.
out. He might
So
not
you need to come on it.
He might not have video evidence or audio, to tell. But he just said that he has been in the game for long. What exactly does that mean? So can he tell us, things to look out for and certain things that will make you know that this is money sharing going on since they have been in the game for so long?
Okay. You made mention that, I mean, you have been in the game for quite a long time. I mean, you know some of the signs that you see that shows that indeed they are sharing money. What are some of these things?
You see, like you're saying, you can never see money with there are agents around. Those who go home to bring the people, they have the money. For instance, if they have to give you 200 Ghana, they will first and foremost give you 100 Ghana. And tell you that go and vote. When you vote, you come for the additional 100 Ghana. And so the money are being, it's a game. They have their own system. They have their own system of operating it. And therefore,
Calvis,
money has been given to certain people.
Calvis, is that how, when he says that we have been in the game for long,
hard for you to
is that how they do it?
Standing here, but in the process.
Well, you made mention that you have been in the game for long. So, is that how it is done?
No. Some of these things, in a general election like this, you can't choose to give everybody money. Do you understand? This is not what is called delegate election. This is an election. I mean, it's an entire election. You understand? Yeah. You can't use money for such an election. In fact, they came in by sharing a lot of goodies. When you run up our campaign, we've been meeting, we've been crisscrossing. We know, we've been seeing them. You understand? And so the money sharing, at least, we need to call it off. It's not the best to go.
Okay, Frema, I have with me here. I have with me here Omane Wadie of the former vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party.
Right.
Actually ask him whether indeed there is money sharing.
Okay.
So we've heard allegations of money sharing.
Have you seen money being shared? Somebody they make allegations, unsubstantiated allegations, and the people believe. They go around. Did you ask them how much we are sharing? If they have seen us sharing money, how much did they say?
They never said it yet.
So how can you say people are sharing money without any evidence?
Well, you mentioned earlier that, they were sharing 100 cities and 200 cities.
So who is taking the 100 and who is taking the 200? The women take 100 or what? Can we afford that? Over 40,000 voters here. Give everybody 100 or 200. Then let their people go and take as evidence and show you if we are truly sharing money. They have NDC people here. They should go there and take the money. Wherever they are, they should come to me or who to me is there. I find out whether he's sharing money. Out of benevolence, if I meet you and say, oh, Coco, I give you money for Coco, which we do as politicians, you can't. Somebody comes to you, oh, chairman, can you look at you and say, because of voting, because of election, because people are making allegations, I won't give you. As for that one, I'll give. I will, if I have. But you cannot use that as sharing money or inducing people to go and vote.
Okay, sir. So how much would you typically give for Coco?
I just gave somebody 5 cities. Coco there, 5 cities. Here.
But the allegations they are making is that they are sharing 100 cities and then 200 cities.
That's not true. That is what I'm telling you. It is not true. That's just if we are sharing money, they should have evidence. In today's world, camera, anywhere, anybody's phone can just take evidence, and then you use that. Okay. But you say some people have arrived from Kumasi and they are in a house, so they are sharing money in that house, and then you storm there, and there's nothing. Then you are still making these allegations. Meanwhile, there are a lot of media people here, you yourself here. If somebody is dashing or counting money, 100 cities is not, it's all 200 cities. Unless you see people counting in the queue, but go and ask the people in the queue.
Okay, so you believe the MPP will be victorious even without sharing money?
Their problem is they've seen victory on our side, and they're making this allegation to make people think that we came to buy the thing. They have lost. You talk to the people on the ground. The people who were attacking were people they brought from outside. The people who were fighting them were people from here, Breku here. You see? And they were telling them they themselves decided to do skirt and blouse in 2020. And they have changed their mind. They can't come and push them. They can't come and beat them. They can't force them. They say they have changed. What they did, what they thought Kwesi would do, or what they believed, they made them believe, that made them change. They have not seen it. The man, they asked him, he came campaigning here, on this ground. What have you done for us? In the past, he says, I couldn't do anything because I was always going to court. I didn't have time. But they asked, so are you still not in court? He says, yes, I'm still in court. 3 years we voted for you, we're in court. You are still in court, we should vote for you. What do we get? So if you were a voter here, and a candidate comes to tell you this, what will you do? Still go for scatter and blast? No. So they know they have lost. Some communities we went to, the same thing. Has he been here before since you voted for him? No. Are you still going to vote for him? He will come. We will tell him something.
Okay, sir. Do you think the James Gyakye will be successful after 5 p.m.?
It's a done deal for him. The cinema here know that they are not in the game. And let me quickly go there. He denied the fact that they are not sharing money. He's the cinema. Oh, no, he's the cinema in the game. They are sharing money.
Have you seen it?
I say MPP are sharing money. He cannot dare they say that they are not sharing money. I'm telling you, I know. I say, my brother.
No, because I said you are stupid.
Oh, are you insulting me?
No. I'm asking you a question.
No, but
if I say you are stupid,
no, retract it. Don't go that. No, don't.
So I retract it.
Correct.
So if you tell me I'm sharing money, I should believe that I'm sharing money.
No, but you are refusing it. The rule of the game is not to accept people. No, listen. When you were talking, no, I didn't hear you. When you were talking, I just kept quiet listening to you. I said,
you make allegations.
No, you see, what you have been doing on every day, you keep on doing it. I gave you the respect. You lamented, blowing all those things. Let me also rebut that you also hear me. Look, let me start from the bottom. He's saying that they are winning and you are putting the allegation on them. I have been here for almost 2 months now. MPP are known in the game. In fact, they were moving even with the bullion van. We don't want to mention name. They were moving bullion van sharing money.
But Calvis, I think that these are very serious allegations.
It will be ungodly for him to be on a media to accept that it is true MPP are sharing money.
Everybody can see a bullion van if it's a bullion van.
Exactly. So these are serious allegations. So if there are names, let's hear the names.
In this election, they are the money. And he's saying that they are ahead of this election. NDC believe in fair level game. By 6 o'clock this evening, all of us will see our mutant level. Either MPP or NDC. We shall see. He also said that when the people asked Kwesi, what has he done? From day one, Kwesi went to parliament. The MPP government, led by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, had not paid it back for 2 years and 6 months. We have MP share of Common Fund, we have MP share of Get Fund, we have MP share of NHI Fund, and other state fund. If you deny all this payment to the member of parliament who have been duly elected by the good people of Assin North, what do you expect the person to use to develop the community? And he used this opportunity to say the man has done nothing. And is he not ashamed of himself? But denying the people of the good people of Assin North development and justice? What are you talking about? We believe in the fair level game. By the end of 6 o'clock, at least, everybody will see its mutant level. We came to meet the people of Assin in peace. We will leave the people of Assin in peace and go. At the end of the day, Honorable James Gyakye will be crowned the mercy. Look, what we are doing right now is to maximize his vote. Look, let me tell you. Do your interview every 10 people. They will tell their status. Yeah, it's 11 police station. We beat them 7 last election. We shall beat them 9 or 10 today.
Do you think?
I was just looking at your face when he was making those allegations that he has not been paid his common fund. I saw your face, your expression on your face. You were even surprised. And that's the campaign they are waging. And then we went to, the common fund is paid through the district by the DCE. So they brought the paper, signature, signed, received. What did he use the money for? Bought rice. What did he use the money for? Oil. And gave to NDC party executives. So we showed the evidence. And now they are still, I don't know what, he says he's been here for the past 2 months. Meanwhile, the elections, the by-election was declared about 6 weeks ago. Is that also? So I don't know whether they knew or what he was doing here. But the good people in Ghana here, the good people in Assin here, the good people in Assin North, the good people in Breku, as we stand here, they know. I said they have told them that they decided to do skirt and blouse STEM. And they have decided now to come back home and do the right thing. And that's what they are doing. So you can accuse, you can make allegations, The man did not perform the past 3 years. And they have rejected him. Nothing good can come from him.
Keep calm. You know, he just beating about the bush. My senior brother does not, he cannot punch out. How can a member of parliament whose name had their point from register from parliament be taking salary? The man on his campaign trail has caution.
When was it?
Listen. The parliamentary candidate that will be elected today, Honorable James Chachikwesi, has said that when he's being declared today, sworn in by Thursday at Parliament. Friday, he's marching to Assembly to make a proper account of his common fund. We are much aware that his common fund has been touched by them, but they shall profit. And so, look, NPP had a rally on last Sunday, and all that they could do, ordinary by-election, all that the NPP could do was to back nationwide. It was a shame of themselves. Listen, my brother. Let me export your words. Let me export your words. Other parliamentary election, you back the whole Ghana. Costing financial loss to the state. Even here, one teacher, 100 people are rejecting them. I can cut more than 45 to 55 from Cape Coast alone. Single. All for I say these people, we shall mark them. In fact, they are on their way going. But the way and manner people are governing this country, they used to write. The work you can do is to clear them out, come December 7, 2024 pool. But today, I'm telling you, if people can eat the whole Ghana kenke, they can do all their permutations, they can do their submarine. This seat, it is well sealed.
The seal seat for
I don't know what I don't know his problem. He feels so bitter and angry. Why? Relax, my brother. Opposition is just like it's like that. When we gave you the power, when we gave you the mandate, you didn't perform. And we have come, we are performing, and people are happy. Why should we be angry? We gave you a woman to marry. A woman you couldn't perform. Now the people say you are not performing, so come, we are taking that you are angry. Because if you perform, they say we should end the program, so.
Well, Freeman, so the two individuals have actually shed light on what is happening here in the Assin North constituency. In the end, they are hoping that their candidate will emerge victorious.
Well, very interesting submissions there. Now, we are also, let's know how the voting generally is going and how the mood is like.
Well, voting is going peacefully here. People are in the queue. Just to cast their ballot. I could count as much as 20 or 30 people in one queue trying to cast their ballot. We are expecting that the process will be successful, and then in the end, the preferred winner will win. Freeman.
All right, thank you, Calvis. We'll come back to you. Unless, of course, there's something else. Okay, so Calvis is gone. He will join us later. But Hansen is still here. Very interesting submissions. Now, you know, with the issue of sharing money and all, NDC themselves recently had their presidential flag bearer primaries, you remember? And there were allegations, even among them, with former President Mahama, you know, allegations of he giving out 40 CDs to delegates and all that. It looks like when it comes to the issues involved in votings, elections in Ghana and allegations, it depends on where you stand. That is where you take the blame or you are the accuser. So is it really surprising that we are hearing NPP sharing money and all that? Because I'm tempted to believe that if we had an NDC government in power, this would be the allegations coming from the NPP, because it's been like that all this while.
It's not surprising. We've told you, NPP, NDC, let's work towards ending vote buying.
Exactly.
You say no. So on election day, when they go and pay 10 cedis and they see that the other person is paying 20 cedis, 30 cedis, they say, hey, Mr. Can you show? They will run and come and say, they're sharing money. When it comes to vote buying, leave them.
Yeah.
Be on their own.
Yeah.
Because every reasonable person in this country has said that vote buying is not good for our politics.
Yeah.
And Freeman, Have you ever given somebody money to
No,
to buy
and nobody
vote?
has given me money to vote
buy.
before.
Yeah.
And it's-
So it is those two people who were speaking. They know where they get the money. They have given money to somebody before.
I find it interesting that he's saying things about bullion van. Meanwhile, all the press reports we have so far, the updates we have so far, there's no evidence, there's no, a camera would have captured something.
I mean,
so how do you hide a bullion van?
Sometimes, sometimes. Well, I can. You cannot dismiss it outright.
No, I'm not.
Like
I don't think we can dismiss
maybe
it
our
outright.
cameras have not captured the bullion van.
Yeah.
Maybe the bullion van is sitting somewhere that, that's what I was asking Hansen, you understand? And he also said that we have been in the game for long.
Yeah.
So maybe they know.
There's a game.
They know
there's
what they do.
no politician. There's no politician who can come here and say that they don't know about vote buying or can boldly say that their party has never been involved in vote buying.
It cannot be. You may not call it. Hold on. You may not call it vote buying, but it might also be.
You can call it whatever name. You can call it whatever name you want to call it.
So I'm coming there.
You don't use funds. You don't give funds for TNT.
And that's what
a standing fan. It's not given for TNT. So you can't argue that and give him a fan for Cocoa or for TNT.
Yeah.
Do you get it? I've seen funds being shared at elections, local elections.
What has happened recently is that they characterize it differently.
Exactly.
So the former president's point you make, it's not an allegation. He came out and said that he's giving everybody 40 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And when you speak, when you go to their rallies and you say, are you people giving out money for people to vote for you? They say no. We've asked the people to come, and we are only giving them transportation.
So they can go back.
So now it has become as though transportation is not part of inducement.
Yeah.
And as we go on, everybody will find a reason to say this is not inducement. Somebody will say,
it is something else.
I gave him money for cocoa. I gave him money for wache. I gave you money for this.
I to eat fried rice, so it determines what you are going to eat. That will determine how much you are getting.
And the bigger issue is that it's a moneycracy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we talk about corruption, and we talk about how politicians do not work towards the general good of the people. But if they give out all these monies, do you expect them to come and solely use the monies that they are supposed to use for development? No, they'll use it to pay their financiers.
They have to reap what they have sown.
And so funding of politics and elections in Ghana generally is something that we have to be careful about. We have to take strong decisions. But the people who would take those same decisions are those people who are involving themselves in it. Sadly, the Ghanaians who perhaps can say, I'm rejecting what you are giving me, is also in a tight corner that
they need
that
thing,
he
Charlie.
needs
You
it.
need it.
And so I abhor vote buying whatsoever on every front and on every level.
Yeah.
But when they come out with their counter accusations, it is not one thing that I'll give my ear to. Because they have contributed to it.
Exactly.
They have done it. Me, Hansi Ajima, I don't have money.
Exactly.
I've never given money to anybody to do any campaign. So
you might not have given. Have you received?
I've never received.
Okay.
I've never received.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you
I like
are
the smile on your face, though.
and so if you are giving and people are receiving,
Yeah.
and you are complaining, it's up to you.
And you say take it and buy cocoa with it.
Yeah.
You take it as a TNT.
Who gives 100 cedis to buy cocoa?
But he said 5 cedis.
But the other man says people are giving.
But other man could not substantiate.
No, but he also didn't substantiate. He just said, I just get 5 cedis.
But
what if it's 50 cedis? He has said it's 5 cedis.
That is
but until we are able
a common
to,
denominator of
until
10.
we are able to discredit it, he says, I've given, but it was 5 cedis.
For cocoa.
For cocoa. Yeah.
So-
And he said that, but nobody needs more than 5 cedis for cocoa.
So the issue about vote buying will always come up. Global Info Analytics did a research, and they looked at the question of inducement, and the question was, when you are giving money to, if you are giving money to vote for somebody, how are you going to react? And majority of the people who were part of the
poll.
The
poll actually said they would actually take the money and vote for that particular person.
Okay.
And so it's actually going to
it will make a difference.
It will make a difference.
No, and rightly so, because you see, the people, the electorate has lost, for want of a better word, confidence in the politician. They've lost faith in the people. So at this point, it looks like who can butter my bread? Do you get it?
Yeah,
because
but I would have thought also, Frema, that if you can say that the money you're giving to me, but when I go and thumb printing, it's a private moment.
But you see, let's not forget that the politicians come from within us.
Yeah.
And this is our mindset. This is what we think. That give me something, otherwise I won't do it for you.
Even in Kumewu, there were conversations that some of the constituents said they were not going to vote because during delegate elections, they actually give money to delegates. And if you had the NDC youth organizer in the central region, he said that this is not a delegate election. I mean, if you are to analyze that statement further,
exactly. It
you
means
can,
that for delegate
you can come to a safe conclusion that if for delegate election, it's understandable.
No, but even this one, the NDC man made the same comment.
Yes.
It's not a delegate, it's a general
they are
election.
just incriminating themselves. You understand?
So, exactly.
And like Hansen is saying, it's a game they both play.
know how to play.
And he said that we've been in the
this
game for long.
This is what they do.
Don't ask us for evidence and all, but we know when vote buying is going on. We can tell from the system.
So specifically from the poll, 78% said they are going to accept that inducement and vote
for the person who induced.
Just 16% said, I would accept and vote against you. And 3% said they'll reject and vote. And then
so in the whole gallery, we have just about
only three who are willing to say.
So this was done for Assin North?
This was done for Assin North, specifically, just on Sunday. Just on Sunday.
Well,
just
even that one is...
Even that one, last minute you can change your mind. When you see people eating the cocoa and you are hungry, senior, you cannot
even those who will vote against you say that we will take.
Exactly.
And that's how sometimes it is. They'll take from here, come and take from here.
Well, we have some visits to Assin North by some eminent persons, basically in observation of this election. Let's take a look and we'll come back and continue the conversation.
During a meeting with political parties prior to the by-election, Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, urged the parties to trust in the police to ensure a smooth and peaceful process. Both the NDC and the MPP, the two major political parties, expressed their satisfaction with the established procedures for the elections. One of the measures implemented is that police guards of members of parliament and ministers of state will not carry their firearms to the election grounds. The police also assured the presence of their anti-armed robbery squad, which has been active even before the by-election, but clarified that they would not be involved in election-related matters. Following a stakeholder engagement with the IGP, here are statements from the chairpersons of the NDC and the MPP.
We are even stronger in that terms because we are going to win tomorrow. Therefore, it will be in our interest to ensure that electoral rules and regulations are allowed to operate tomorrow. What's the point in putting sand into your garri? We are going to enjoy it tomorrow. So that's the stance of the MPP.
One of the decisions taken was that there will not be firearms allowed at any polling station. And by extension, ministers, MPs should not come there for their bodyguards. Is that a directive you equally endorse?
I don't recall that they said they shouldn't come, but they shouldn't be armed. That's what I want. And I endorse it.
So the mobile phone, ebe ura polling booth mu. Say who could vote at the appeal against vote. Intino so sa subai no yama ho kwai nti mo bia mfa mobile phone emfa wura boot num na ko twa photo discuss about social media premature flagging of figures and declaration and they are making create confusion and nyina your boy then try as much as possible to avoid sad and by and large police for the door and numbers are abandoned so no and say IGP assures adequate.
President Akufo-Addo has drawn a parallel between the dual citizenship case of James Gyakye Quayson and that of Adamu Sakande. Last week, former President John Dramani Mahama criticized the Supreme Court's decision to nullify James Gyakye Quayson's 2020 election victory and disqualify him from serving as an MP, deeming it absurd. However, while addressing a rally at Assin North, President Akufo-Addo urged constituents to dismiss Mahama's remark and instead rally support for the MPP parliamentary candidate, Charles Opoku.
Six and a half years here before. We are living in America. And one of two are not here. And one of two are not here. Some of them who support the Jumupa. Now, brother, who call you the other one. Who call you Omipa, which is one. Now, some are
Certain sections of the township roads are currently undergoing construction, resulting in slippery conditions. Extra caution is being exercised to prevent any accidents. Meanwhile, former President John Dramani Mahama has been in the constituency with the NDC's candidate James Gyakye Quayson campaigning ahead of the elections.
Abattoir senior maybe 2020 2016 this Nehemiah Toabano Debbie where are you between Assin North and Persuasion Kwana and a betubi Ghana no be and to be this a month 80 a year at this Nami Edia Swam say Monkasa Emma Ghana Punina. They said, me, Maba or Bolle Bamboy, start by me to be. Obidia will be on to me to be. And so, Amani who are young na ya famuno. Nyame Ede Esimoso. Say, I saw Chi Amodibama MPP Amo who Omo say, and your man Koye or Ghana no. Or the Ashamosa Assin North. 80 million yank and me Assin North.
Very confident. Things have shaped up very well. I would not say more than I think would dispel any discomfort or disadvantage for anybody, but all I can tell you is that I'm very focused and I'm very confident that we'll win the seat and put this to rest.
We are told that you're going against a stronger candidate than the one you faced in 2020 and that based on the development that the government has brought to your constituency, tomorrow you do not stand a chance at all. What do you say to that?
No, I don't think it's. I think if anything, it's the reverse of what the perception is. Let me tell you, this is. You see, in 2020, I was totally a new candidate, parliamentary candidate. I had not really had much footprint in the community, even though I was fulfilling some of their campaign requirements that people had placed on me. But in terms of development, in the last 2.5 years since I've been in office, I was in office until this by-election. There's little or almost nothing the government can put their hand on that they developed until the last 2 weeks when this by-election was called. So I think the people of Assin North are very, very conscious people. They know exactly what is happening. There's many, many contracts awarded in the district that has never been fulfilled until recently when in this rainy season they tried to plow some roads, and unfortunately or maybe nature just has to expose them that they are not able to construct roads in the middle of a rainy season. So if people are claiming that they've done developments, I'm not sure where those developments are.
All right, so there you saw Mr. Gyakye Quayson on your TV screen there. But we've been talking about him quite a bit. But there's also the other contestant here, the other gentleman, Mr. Opoku. Hansa, what do we know about him?
So usually when it comes to, when you go to communities and you engage them about politicians, there are certain terms that you hear, and it tells you who that candidate is. So sometimes you hear somebody, homeboy.
Yeah.
Homeboy.
Yeah.
Homeboy means
one of us.
And so that's like the caliber of Charles Opoku.
Okay.
Now he's from Assin Breku.
Okay.
Gyakye Quayson is also from Assin Breku.
Okay.
But unlike Gyakye Quayson, who went to stay in Canada and had been coming and came in 2020 to contest, Charles Opoku, he went to the Breku DCJHS.
Okay.
So Breku DCJHS. And then from Breku DCJHS, he went to then Assin North Secondary Technical School, which is now Assin North Senior High School. And so he went to JHS in Assin Breku.
Yeah.
Assin North Senior High School is in Assin Prasu.
Okay.
And from there, he went to Cape Coast Technical University.
So like homebred?
Like homebred. And he moved from there to Cape Coast.
Okay.
And then now works at Goldfield.
Okay.
Comes back, forms his own NGO called the Akosia Bakun Foundation, where he supports within the community.
Okay.
Now, again, what you need to look at is, so I decided to look out for Assin North Senior High School. And before government took over Assin North Senior High School, it was a community school that was established by some of the communities within the Assin North constituency. Some of the communities include Asempaneye, Dansame, Achiano, Kushia, Prasu, and Bremen. Now, if you know the ideas behind community schools mostly, it is usually Yababum.
Yeah.
Want to ask children to go to school. And so it's the community that provides for the schools, the community that pays for the... And so there's somebody who went to the community school. And he's done a lot of projects through his foundation in the community school.
So you must be seen as a person who belongs to the people.
So here's, even Global Info Analytics Post said it, that he's the reason NDC is fighting hard to maintain the seat. If they had brought any other person,
it would have been easy.
It would have been easy for them. And he's not even a voter in Assin North. He comes from there, but he's not even a registered voter in Assin North.
Interesting.
And those were the issues Sami Jamfi were raising earlier. And so the homeboy thing that we usually talk when it comes to politics, it's one that will balance the other aspect of James Jachikwesin, of he being a philanthropist, a social worker, somebody from Canada, with at least some money to support some of the residents. So that aspect of Charles Opoku,
interesting.
it will also be at play today.
Thank you very much.
Right.